Hey, you guys, my name is Jennifer Yarbrough, and I am your nonprofit expert. And I really want to come in and address the issue of ChatGPT. Um, One of the things that I'm always asked is, will this technology or can this technology replace grant writers? For many of you who know, I've been writing grants for 37 years, and it is definitely more than just text and generating text. And so I want to go in and have a real conversation about it, and I would really appreciate any comments that you might have. Leave them in the comments below. All right, so first thing is this. While ChatGPT is a very powerful tool, it is a powerful tool indeed. It does not have emotion. And one of the things that is important when we are generating information in response to grant applications, it really is connecting with the grant funder. In the application, not only are there questions that need to be asked, there must be connection with why are we approaching this funder, or what is it specifically about this funder that causes us to want to approach them for grant funding. And because the AI technology does not have emotion, it just is a logical forming text generation tool. It does not have the ability to get into the intricacies of what is the funder's history? How has this funder come about to causing this issue that they want to fund as a priority for them? AI can't do that. Let me say this. Having done this work for so long, there are lots of tools, right? We had Google at one time, and people thought that Google could think. But I've always stated, people give to people. AI is not a person. Google is not a person. All respect to Google, right? Uncle Google is very useful as a tool. However, it cannot replace the knowledge, the understanding of impact, relevance, and why what we do is important as a mission. Now, some would think, AI is going to make everything easier. And in some cases, that's true. But the thing is this, people give to people. And while it may help with the generation of text, right? It can only give you bullets, but it cannot relate to the funder. It cannot relate to the people that you're serving. Specifically in the nonprofit world, giving is an emotional decision, not a logical decision. And AI will give and may convey logical reasoning, right? But it is up to the human writer to make that emotional connection. Again, as a tool, it's very powerful. It's very impactful. It can save time. But you, a human who is conducting the program, who's implementing the program, who's evaluating the program, it is up to you to discern, is this information, one, feasible, right? The AI technology will give you a list of things that you can do, but do you have the capacity to do it? You still have to go back to the text. You still have to edit. You still have to convey what is reasonable for your individual organizations within your capacity. And that's key. Your funder is connecting with, does this make sense? Is this within the realm of possibility for the organization? Listen, ChatGPT will tell you to do all kinds of things as a recommendation, but can you do it? Because once you have written it, once you have submitted it, the funder has an expectation that whatever has been generated, you can actually do. This is one of the things that I found about Google, that sometimes it tries to assume or imply, or maybe even suggest that it can do away with the expert knowledge of a person, and it cannot. You who created your organization, you who designed your mission, you who understand or should understand the impact of your work cannot be replaced by AI. It can't. AI can generate words, but it cannot convey, it cannot demonstrate, it cannot communicate the importance of that work like you can. It cannot sell the story like you can, right? And the truth is this, when you're standing up on a stage, because again, remembering people give to people, and grants are not the only stream of revenue, that when you are in person, can you convey, can you communicate, can you articulate that which was generated by AI? I am of the belief that grant writers not only understand words or instructions of the grant application, but grant writers are able to tell the story from a place of experience, from a place of understanding what it is that the funder needs to see and to understand. And listen, they may come up back, where the funder may ask added questions. And in many cases, AI, because it does not have a brain, will repeat itself several times, right, in answer to different questions, because it doesn't know significance. It doesn't make connections. It's just a tool. I just want to caution people who are relying on tools to do the work for them. I used to think that Google, and nothing disparaging about Google at all other than the people who use it, if you don't know the answer, or have some experience with whatever it is that Google gives you, you won't know if that answer is right or wrong. You won't have an idea of if it is leading you in the right direction or not, right? That comes from experience. AI does not have experience. It's just grabbing words and resources and information and compiling it into a compelling text. However, it cannot replace the experience of a person who can edit, who can add to, who can change and expand. All right? It's a powerful tool, no doubt. But it cannot replace a person as it relates to conveying information. One tool cannot build a house. One tool cannot build a house. And it requires a lot of tools to write grants. You've got to understand what the funder is saying. You've got to be able to research who and the giving history of the grant funder. AI can't do that. You've got to be able to show examples and connection. AI can't do that. When you are reading the information about the funder, when you are reading into what is implied in the grant application, AI can't do that. It would be wonderful. It would be amazing if one tool could do all the work, right? But it cannot replace a person. Grant writing is more than text. Doing the grant research is more than pulling up lists of names. You've got to read, you've got to interpret, you've got to read into, you've got to be able to dissect, you've got to analyze, you've got to be able to determine, you've got to be able to ask questions, you've got to be able to expound upon what the funder is asking, or even if you have a question. And not having the experience in knowing the guardrails that AI provides or removes could get you in a whole lot of trouble. Okay? I want you to be encouraged by the tool. I want you to be encouraged that this tool is helpful in generating text. However, the text alone that it generates may or may not answer the question in the way that the funder needs for it to be answered. And that only comes from experience. Many people don't understand all that goes into grant writing. They may think that it's, just doing the research, and you got these applications, and now you just want to submit them and send them all out, right? But it really does take more than that. You got to read for the detail. And many times AI does not give you the detail. It'll give you a grand overview. It'll give you a brush over. It'll give you a picture. But in many cases, you got to know enough about that picture to be able to go in and ask for more detail. Ask for it to flesh it out in areas that are key and relevant. You've got to be able to cause it to speak specifically to the funder's need and not just a broad need, because it doesn't understand specifics. It doesn't understand the detail of what the funder may be looking at. Okay, remembering again, it's just a tool. It's a powerful tool, but it's a tool nonetheless. And any tool is only as powerful and impactful as the person who knows how to use the tool, right? And so I just want us not to become lazy. I don't want us to think that it's going to do the work for you and make your overall work easier. In some cases, it can make it harder, because if you've got to know enough about the project, you've got to know enough about the program, you've got to know enough about your program attendees, you got to know enough about your donors, that when you are asking this platform or this tool to generate information, letters of inquiry, grant applications themselves, or the responses to those grant applications, you've got to know enough about the program, about the audience that you are writing to or writing about. You've got to know enough to be able to determine, is this true or not? It'll, again, generate a lot of information, but some of it may be relevant to you and some of it may not, okay? And that comes with knowledge. AI doesn't have any knowledge. It has the ability to grab information from different places, but it does not have a knowing, an emotional, intellectual knowing about a subject matter that overrides the human, okay? There's so much to this, and I'm creating actually a couple of trainings on how to use it effectively and what are its limitations. And I'm just now discussing with you a few of its main limitations. I have used it, I do use it. However, in its use, I've also got to know what its limitations are. Right? And that again comes from experience. That again comes from a level of expertise. AI cannot replace experts, right? You as an expert in your field, as the executive director, as the founder of your organization, it cannot convey, communicate, articulate, bring out the emotional relevance of your program better than you. Now, it may be able to put it in the words for you, but you're the one that has to convey it when you are speaking to funders face to face, right? And not just in writing. And I think that's key, that while it will generate words for you, it can't speak for you. When you have to call the funder on the phone, or when you're having to have conversation about your program, or they're calling and asking for additional information and they want to come for a site visit, and that's not uncommon. You've got to be able to not only present it in writing, but you've got to know enough about the program to be able to speak about it, to be able to articulate about it, to be able to answer questions about it that AI can't do for you at all times. So I'm just saying, don't put all of your grant seeking, grant wanting, grant searching, options into this particular platform. It is powerful. It is useful, but it does not replace the grant writer. It just can't. It just can't. It can't do the research. It can't do the criteria determination. It can't do that. It can't do the evaluation, right? You've got to give it the information about your evaluation, about your numbers, about your budget. You've got to give it the information for it to create the language around it. So again, it cannot work without you, the writer, the human. It doesn't generate that without you first giving it information to begin to call and to cultivate. Am I making sense? So it does not replace the human. It does not replace the grant writer. It does not replace the expertise of the person that's directing it. It can only take directions. It cannot give directions, okay? It does not give directions in terms of what goes into the grant application. It does not give direction in terms of how the program is formulated or created. It doesn't give those directions. It can only respond to what it is given. And that's only given by the person, the grant writer, the funder, right? Or even you as the executive director. It's a powerful tool, and I'm enjoying the experience of it, just as I did with Google. And I'm sure in a couple of years there'll be another tool that comes along. And I think that that's one of the things that I've learned in my 37 years, is that there's always going to be a new tool. There's always going to be a new platform, but it does not replace what consistently works across the board with or without these tools. Before there were tools, before there was a laptop, before there was an internet, before there was an iPhone, before there was a Google, there was connection, people giving to people. There was a relevance of why is this program important and what is the impact of that, and that needing to be articulated clearly. Right? So after this particular platform passes and another one replaces it, it still will not replace the people behind the programs, the impact, the mission, the vision being accomplished. It can write the text, but it can't run the program for you. It cannot convey the impact for you. It cannot create the relevance to your, or sustain the relevance to your funders and to your contributors and to your partners. That's only going to come from you. Use it. It will help you save time, but don't rely only on it. Continue to learn, continue to grow, continue to understand why your mission matters, who it impacts, your program, and how you articulate to your donors and funders and supporters why your work is important. As the grant writer, know that words are important and that the framework of words are driven by what the funder is seeking and what it is that you have as a program able to convey. All right. I hope that this is clear. I hope that this is helpful. And listen, if you are using ChatGPT, put it in the comments. Tell me how you're using it. If you are curious on how to use it even the more through your nonprofit program development or through your grant writing efforts, I'm happy to have that conversation. Again, I'm creating some trainings around that. But I want you to know that you know more than ChatGPT. And it is important that not only does this program give you words to say, you've got to be able to articulate it. It doesn't speak for you. It's not going to stand in place of your ability to articulate why what you do is important. It does not replace your opportunity to convey heart to heart, people to people, why your program is important. All right. You still have to put it in your own words. People give to people. All right. Foundations are looking at words in the grant application, but they're looking at more than just the text. They're looking at what is possible, what is your capacity, and does it connect with them, right? The readers. ChatGPT can't do that. It's not emotional. All right. And that's the part that you get to bring in as the grant writer, as the organization's representative and founder. All right. I hope that this has been helpful. I'm really enjoying this topic, and I hope that you are too. Please leave your comments below, like and follow. My name is Jennifer Yarbrough. I am your nonprofit expert. Over 37 years helping nonprofit organizations not just start, but grow and sustain. And I've seen lots of platforms, lots of tools come and go, but you being able to convey, articulate your impact never changes. I'll see you guys next time.